They're the Pac-12 champions again. They went back to a Rose Bowl, but can they repeat? I'm Pete Fiutak for Campus Insiders. We're breaking down the 2014 Stanford Cardinal. Here's what you need to know to be an expert.
Oh, you're a clever one.
Shane Scove, Trent Murphy, Ed Reynolds, they lose a ton off the defense. They lose 4 starters on the offensive line. There's no way Stanford can repeat, can they? Absolutely. They have reloaded on defense in a big hurry. Henry Anderson could be the best defensive end in the country. He's certainly going to be a top draft pick next year. And now it's up to Kevin Hogan to really lead this team. He's been a little more of a caretaker for the offense, but he has been a winner, and he's been very strong and solid. Now he has to grow into that pro prospect that a lot of people think he can be, and he's got to make the offense around him better. Don't look for Stanford to take too big a step back. They've just reloaded. They didn't have to rebuild. All right, Doug Chapman, who is your player that you have to watch out for?
Whoa. I hear you, Pete, but Kevin Hogan was last in the conference last year in passing for all quarterbacks that had over 100 attempts. So my surprise player is going to be a guy, you may have heard of his father, Barry Sanders Sr. He's got a son named Barry Sanders Jr. at Stanford. Stanford for the past 6 years has had a 1,000-yard back. Tyler Gaffney is gone, but Barry Sanders has had an amazing spring. Looks like his father. They were never explosive on offense, but they may need to lean on the running game a little more because I'm not sure Hogan can do it. Watch for Barry Sanders to have a big year. Now let's take a look at the schedule.
UC Davis kicks off the season. They get Army a couple weeks later. That's about the only break Stanford gets. If they're going to go back to the Pac-12 championship game and win it, they're going to have to really earn it. They start out the Pac-12 season against USC. At least that game is at home. They got to go to Washington. They got to go to Arizona State. They got to go to Oregon. And to close out the season, not only do they have to go across town to the big game against Cal, they got to go down to UCLA and deal with the Bruins, who might be the best team in the Pac-12 South. On top of that, they also have to go on the road to deal with Notre Dame. There is not a break in this slate for the Cardinal. All right, Doug Chapman, looking at this schedule, what do you have them going?
Choose wisely.
Pete, I see Stanford going 8-4. An early loss, week 2 to USC, that's going to happen. They have to go on the road to Oregon and UCLA. They're not going to win games there. I think this is the first year we start to see the Stanford program take a bit of a dip. Things are going to be a little different there in Palo Alto.
3 road games in 4 weeks, 4 road games in a 6-game midseason stretch. It's going to be too much to overcome. 8-4 is probably about right. Again, they got to go to Oregon. They got to go to UCLA. They got to deal with USC. They got to go to Notre Dame. They got to go to Arizona State. That's a lot of big games. If they can get to 8-4, it's going to be a pretty good season for them. I'm Pete Fiutak. We are breaking down all the big teams here on CampusInsiders.com.